Hello, geometry. Okay, here we have special right triangles. One of these special right triangles is a 45, 45, 90 triangle, which happens when you have an isosceles triangle. So remember, an isosceles triangle means that two of the sides are exactly the same. So what we need to write down is, again, what you see here. If our legs are x, then our hypotenuse is going to be x times the square root of 2. Whatever our leg is multiplied by the square root of 2. And so we know that in a right isosceles triangle, this angle is the same as this angle. So this angle is going to be 45 degrees. This angle is going to be 45 degrees. And then we still have our 90 degrees right here. So make sure you've got this written down, is that your hypotenuse is the square root of 2 times larger than the leg. First question, is it a 45, 45, 90 triangle? Well, if I have 90 degrees here and 45 degrees here, I know triangles always have 180 degrees. So yes, this is going to be a 45-degree triangle as well. And so that means that this side is 8, this side is 8, and the hypotenuse is 8 square root 2. Now, is it a 45, 45, 90? If this side is the same as this side, yes, that means that their angles have to be the same. And if I've already used 90 degrees and those two are the same, there is no other way that I can get 180 degrees unless it's 45, 45, 90. So again, to think about this one, I say whatever my leg is 3 square root 2. I'm going to multiply it by the square root of 2. And so the square root of 2 times the square root of 2, it kind of cancels each other out, and you're just left with 3 times 2. So your hypotenuse equals 6. The hypotenuse of this triangle is going to be 6. Again, what did we do? You can think about this 2 different ways. You can think about it like this, or you can think about it like square root 2 times square root 2. That's the same thing as the square root of 2 squared, which cancels out, and you're left with 2. Either way, you get the same answer. Working the other way. So again, if I think, hey, my formula is leg times the square root of 2, and my hypotenuse is 5 square root of 2, well, then that means each leg is going to be 5. Now it gets a little bit trickier when it's in this form, because my hypotenuse is 20, which again is, we'll call it x square root 2. So if I need to get this by itself, I'm going to say, okay, 20 equals x square root 2. I want to solve for x. So I need to divide by the square root of 2 and divide by the square root of 2. Remember, you can't necessarily have a square root sign in your denominator, so we can move it by multiplying the top and the bottom by the square root of 2. So I'm left with, let's go over here. I'm left with 20 square root 2 over 2. After I do this multiplication, let's just move this whole thing over here. So, well, we started with 20 over square root of 2. I wanted to move it out of here. So I said, all right, to move it out, I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 2. So this is 20 square root 2. And then we just talked about how this cancels out. And I can simplify 20 divided by 2 to equal 10. So 10 square root 2 is going to be each leg. All right, so just again, exactly the same thing. This is my hypotenuse, which is the hypotenuse of our triangle is x square root 2. So to get it, I need to divide by the square root of 2. I can't keep the square root sign in the bottom, so I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom, get 15 square root 2 over 2, which we can simplify. Half of 15 is 7.5 square root 2. Square root of 2 times the square root of 2 equals the square root of 4, which equals 2. Y equals 2. I've got a square. I'm trying to find the diagonal. Again, I can think about it. Just cut this in half. Okay, I've got a leg of 8. That means that my hypotenuse is 8 square root 2.